All the, oh, Steve, right.
We're in
Now
good
really good shape. Call to order the meeting of the Town of Nantucket Finance Committee for Tuesday, February 14th. Reminding everybody that we have attendees both in person and on video, so be careful what you say. Things may be recorded and be available to the general public via the feed. First agenda item is the approval of the agenda. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second. I guess I have to do a roll call vote. So Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen. Sorry, Chris. Aye. Peter.
Aye.
Denise.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Jeremy.
Aye.
I think I got every Joe. Aye. Okay, that passed. Thank you. Next agenda item is open the floor for public comment for anyone who has comments on issues that are not on the agenda. 3, 2. Okay, we're going to close public comment. Thank you very much. On to the main subjects of the meeting today, considering a long list of warrant articles. Starting with number 37, and Leslie, we're going to can we turn to you for a summation of what this is all about and what the planning board, how the planning board voted?
And would you like for me to just go through article by article and you guys can interrupt if you have questions? You're going to stop after each one, or how do you want to?
For each one, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Want to vote after each one, or do you want to wait until we?
Oh, yeah, you'll have to vote. Forgot about that part.
Yeah, why don't
Why don't we,
why don't
until we have one
yeah,
of the controversial ones.
Right, because I think we can sort of, the goal here is to move along as quickly as possible. There may be some of the later ones on the agenda that some other folks may show up with some issues. So Leslie, that would be great if you would summarize what's going on, and then we can have discussion, the FinCom could discuss it, and then take a vote.
Okay. So one thing that's, well, first of all, I'll start off saying that we have 17 planning board sponsored articles and 16 citizen sponsored articles. And one new thing that you will see in the planning board motion this year is a quantum of vote. There's a state bill, the housing choice bill that passed that allows some articles to pass by a 50% quantum of vote instead of the usual 2/3. And the planning board has to note that in their motion. And the 50% applies if the zoning is changing to a district where more housing can be built than would have otherwise been allowed. So I'll point that out as we go through. So the first article 37, this is a zoning bylaw amendment to add definition for animal hospital and animal shelter. With the situation going on at Nisha, we realized that we have not addressed either one of those uses in our bylaw because it's pre-existing non-conforming in their current location. So in order for them to be able to move, to a variety of spots, we thought it would be good to introduce that use. So that's all that we're doing here. The article would allow them by special permit in all zoning districts, and the planning board would be the special permit granting authority.
And what happens to the existing grant on the space they're in now?
So they can stay where they are,
Right.
but when they need to move somewhere else, that's when it could or could not become a problem. For the
Okay.
case of Nisha, they have their bylaws that have them incorporated as an educational use. So that gives them an exemption under zoning. So they don't necessarily need this, but it just makes it a lot clearer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, any other, I'm sorry.
This is a 2/3 vote, and the planning board gave it a positive recommendation
Okay,
In all zones, it's just commercial or residential?
by special permit. So it's require a public hearing, public notice, and notification to the abutters.
Okay. She answered my question.
okay. Actually, Denise, a question for you, or maybe for Maria. When we vote, after the planning board has taken whatever action they've taken, are we voting to support or not to support, or are we is it still move to adopt, take no action, and move not to adopt?
It's FinCom supports the planning board motion, and Stephen will correct me if I'm wrong, because he knows this better than I do.
No, that's typically the way it's been done. Occasionally, we've made our own motion, but our motion doesn't hold the same weight that planning boards does.
So it's,
Town meeting's gonna vote on planning boards.
so I'm just thinking in this case, it's gonna be a motion to support the planning board.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so any other questions for Leslie on number 37? In that case, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
That's, yeah.
To support the planning. board.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna have to go roll call vote. Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris, Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Jill.
Aye.
Okay, passed and Joe, I passed unanimously. Thank you. All right. Article number 38.
Okay, 38 amends the current definition of ground cover. Right now, one residential shed is allowed per property up to 200 square feet, and that's exempt from ground cover. Anything over the 200 square feet counts towards your allowed ground cover. This article would allow you to have one or more sheds exempt as long as in the aggregate, they don't exceed the 200 square feet. So it just gives property owners a little more flexibility. And the planning board gave that a positive motion, and it requires a 2/3 vote.
All right. Any questions on article number 38? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Joanna.
Aye.
I'm looking right at you and I'm like, can't get the name out. Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. Okay, number 39.
Right, 39. This addresses residential swimming pools and hot tub and spas. There's been a bit of a discrepancy in interpretation on our current definitions that has resulted in some ongoing litigation. So the intent here is to clarify the definition to make it easier to understand and more consistent between the definition of a hot tub spa and a swimming pool. We've also introduced the concept of small and large swimming pools. And that's something that may be further implemented in the future, but right now it's just introducing that concept into the zoning bylaw. The hot tub spa would be a structure that's less than 75 square feet, designed to be heated and containing seats, benches, and jets. So that's your typical type hot tub spa. A small swimming pool would be 150 square feet or less of surface area. This is all surface area. And it may be designed to be heated, and it may contain seats or benches or jets or other features, but it will not be able to include a diving board or a slide or that type of thing. And then a large swimming pool would be larger than 150 square feet and may include any feature. So again, that develops clear criteria for these types of water features. What this article does not do is alter any allowances that are currently in the bylaw. So for example, hot tubs are already prohibited in certain districts. That carries forward in this article. Certain swimming pools are allowed by special permit in certain districts. That carries forward into this article. And the planning board gave it a positive recommendation. It requires a 2/3 vote.
Any questions for Leslie on this one?
Was there any dissent among planning board members about this or?
I actually have a question. Linda Williams has a swimming pool article down at number 54. Are they in conflict, or does it look like she was trying to define swimming pools in certain ways as well?
Her article, just want to make sure I don't mix them up because there's
Number
a few different
54, I
ones.
Yeah, 54.
So her article would change the special permit granting authority from the zoning board of appeals to the planning board. And the planning board did not support that concept. They wanted to stay with the zoning board of appeals. And the zoning board of appeals also did not support that. So Article 54 received a motion not to adopt. And Article 39 kept the zoning board of appeals as the special permit granting authority, which is the way the bylaw is currently written.
I see. Okay,
Yeah, hers uses the old
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definition, not amended.
Right.
okay, thank you. All right, any other questions on Article 39? In that case, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill.
I'm recused. Sorry, Joe. I meant to tell you that before.
Oh, okay. Hope the minutes will show that. Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I, passes with one recusal. All righty. Thank you all. Article number 40, Leslie.
Article 40, the planning board has not held the public hearing yet. That's scheduled for March 9th.
Okay. Hold that over. Article number 41.
Article 41 would expand the allowance for duplexes into additional districts. In ROH, SOH, they're currently not allowed. They would now be allowed by special permit. In R20, they would be allowed. In R40, they would be allowed. R20 is a half acre district, R40 is basically an acre district. And then they would be allowed as an accessory use in commercial industrial. And in the ROH and SOH, it would only be allowed when one of the units is subject to a Nantucket Housing Needs Covenant. And this again is, to promote additional housing types, and the planning board gave it a positive recommendation, and it requires a majority vote.
Any questions? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. All right, passes unanimously. Thank you, Leslie. Number 42.
42 addresses the secondary residential lot provision of the bylaw. I would classify this as a housekeeping article that we would have normally included in a technical amendment article, but last year we were advised by the Attorney General to not continue with the technical amendment article, so that's why we have a few extra ones this year. All this does is clarify that the tertiary unit is allowed on the market rate lot only. And that's consistent with the Nantucket Housing Needs Covenant Program. Anyway, it just wasn't written in the bylaw. So it was a little unclear to, potential buyers or dividers of their property.
Tertiary, or, I'm sorry, you said tertiary, but,
Well, that's where it gets a little bit confusing.
okay.
So when you have
Yeah.
a single lot that you divide into two, one's the market rate and one's the covenant lot. So they each have one dwelling unit. There's a third dwelling unit that's allowed that would have otherwise been the tertiary. But that one has to go with the market rate. It can't go with the newly created covenant lot.
So,
So the tertiary turns into a secondary.
right, so it says here, a second
okay.
dwelling unit, which
Yeah.
is different than secondary dwelling unit, so.
And there's no additional size restriction or anything like that than there was before. Stays the same.
That stays the same.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other thing in this article, it specifies that the ground cover distribution has to be determined at the time of the issuance of the special permit. So under the secondary lot program, you don't get an increase in ground cover. But if it's not specified early on, the property owners start disagreeing about who gets to have how much ground cover. So we're just gonna clarify that up front from now on.
Great. Okey-dokey.
So moved.
Second.
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. Thank you all. Number 43.
Just to clarify on that last one, that's a 2/3 majority vote. That's required at town meeting.
Greg, you're gonna say tertiary or?
Tertiary vote.
Well, the next article is a tertiary lot. Yeah, this program was approved last year at town meeting. We've talked with several property owners about moving forward with an application. We haven't actually seen one yet. But the concept here is to expand the allowance into the R10 and R20 zoning districts, provided that they have an oversized lot. So in R10, you would normally need a 10,000 square foot lot. In order to take advantage of this program, you need a 15,000 or larger square foot lot. In R20, a minimum lot of 20,000 is required, but for this program, it would need to be 30.
So is it already in effect in lug 1, lug 2, and lug 3?
Yes.
Okay.
The planning board gave this a positive recommendation, and the quantum of vote on this is 50%.
And these lots can't be a covenant, right? So once somebody builds a tertiary, it can't be part of the covenant program.
No, with this program, 2 of the 3 dwellings have to be subject to the covenant. So you only get the bonus lot if it's subject to the covenant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you subdivide and create 2 covenant lots.
Right.
A secondary and a tertiary.
Yes.
If you're 150% of if you were in these particular zoning
Mhm.
districts, and your lot is big enough to be 150% of the minimum.
You can get two covenants and then tertiary on the market rate lot.
No,
So you,
No,
no,
Still only 3 dwellings.
yeah,
So
okay.
all the same ground cover, total number of dwellings is the same.
I
but
see
you
how
have
this is confusing.
Three separate ownerships. And 2 of them. are-
And nobody can have a second building on their lot.
Right, you still have 3 total dwellings.
Okay,
okay. Any further questions?
so moved.
Second,
Oh, I missed them. I was so interested.
Keep up.
you have to say second because I don't think I can second.
Second,
All right, Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
hi,
Denise,
Hi,
Bill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
hi,
Joe, I. Okay, number 44.
okay, Article 44 addresses off-street parking requirements. Again, this is part of, the housing choice bill and encouraging additional housing units. A lot of our parking requirements are based on bedrooms. And we would change that to just have a total amount required for each dwelling unit. The planning board gave this a positive recommendation and it requires a majority vote. And it does not affect all zoning districts, just the zoning districts listed in the article.
Doesn't the planning board already have authority to modify parking requirements?
They can waive them by special permit. But this would be a by right allowance.
Yeah. I have a problem with that. I mean, we see places all over the island where there's not enough parking provided already and they're parking on sidewalks and streets and bike paths and. Already the planning board has this allowance. Doesn't seem to me this needs to be codified.
Well, the planning board proposed it as part of a national planning trend. Again, to encourage housing growth.
Well,
and additional-
nationally, people have more robust transportation networks than we have.
More on street parking.
Okay,
Were the number of spaces increased anywhere, Leslie?
Well, it depends
Right,
on how many bedrooms it is. Because you're going from a bedroom to just a number, an absolute number. So if it was,
Well, this is what I'm trying to get at. So if it was one bedroom, you always had one,
right,
right? If it was two bedroom, you always had what number?
2, yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
So I see 4. So where did it get changed?
so. If, for example, in R5, a duplex, 1 space per bedroom. So once you get over 4 bedrooms, in effect, we've reduced the parking from 4 to 6. From 6 to 4.
So they're giving them less space. Stephen.
That's his point.
Yeah, right. They're requiring less parking spaces. I just, 1 per bedroom is already like. Most bedrooms have more than 1 car.
certainly, it sounded like Richmond Properties is having that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're just
Oh, they've
creating
got-
that situation where,
living in
I
a-
mean, developers don't like
Having to,
putting my hat on as a developer. You don't look to provide more parking than you have to.
right,
I mean, if you can, you do it, but usually you're looking at. How much building can I get on the ground? And then I'll provide the parking that I have to. That's what's happening right across the street here.
right. I'm,
across the street where,
Right over there.
I mean, the new,
The,
the new,
the
building?
new, the new downtown
Right,
across the
right,
street.
new downtown. One
This-
building.
This wouldn't affect that because this is garage apartments and duplexes only, but the concept's the same.
Leslie, was this a controversial issue at the planning board or?
I don't believe I was at the meeting when they discussed this. I think I was at your meeting. But I don't recall any discussion of controversy.
I mean, if this was like tied to affordability restrictions on housing, we're creating more year-round restricted or affordable restricted units. And this is the way to make it possible for people to do it. I could see it. Otherwise, it just looks like you're creating more hardship for neighbors.
Would you all be at all interested in not making a motion on this today and waiting until your meeting with the planning board so you could hear from them?
Yeah.
Directly?
Yeah, that might be. a good idea.
That might be better because I'm not sure where, I'm not sure personally, I know. I'm sort of comfortable enough with the subject matter to just say, well, I'll go with the planning board. I think it'd be good to hear some more discussion. So, okay. Gonna postpone that one.
Can we ask them to do a summary of what this is intended to do? Just to make it more clear?
Jeremy, they're gonna be here, so we can ask them anything we want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
okay. I think that's a fair solution there. So let's hop over then to Article 45.
Just one last
I'm
comment. I mean,
sorry.
there are quite a few 6-bedroom duplexes around being built, right? So that's the,
6-bedroom,
That's
meaning
the-
6 on each
seems to be
side,
The crux of it.
yeah. 3 aside.
3 aside,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean. Let's wait till next time. I just was wondering whether. For a 3-bedroom house, I'm not sure you're always gonna have 3 cars, but
So you're probably gonna have
6 cars with
four or
Oak
five.
Island,
Yeah, I was,
multiple people per bedroom.
It's employee housing. It's not so much families with, you know, kids in 2 bedrooms. You only need 2 cars. That's not typically the way these things work out.
got it. Okay. Article number 45, Leslie, thank you.
45, that was,
Could that be restricted to just year-round housing, not for seasonal housing? In other words, people that are renting would not be allowed to do that?
we'd have to give that a little thought. I sort of lean towards no,
Okay.
because it treats the same category as properties differently.
Yeah,
The duplex is a duplex.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so 45 Appleton Road, the planning board continued this for additional discussion with the property owners, and that's on for March 9th. And same for 46.
Okay. We're flying.
Yeah.
Number 47,
47, this is part of the planning board's master plan implementation to phase out the RC2 zoning district. We're getting very close to that being completely phased out. So the properties would go from RC2 to C Tech. That's what came out of our research and the public hearing with the owners. And the board gave that a positive recommendation, and the quantum of vote is 50%.
Is that,
Oh,
do you actually have an answer?
now there's the map.
Oh, sorry, thanks. Head down.
okay, so those in that area are gonna go to C-Tech.
To C-Tech, most of those are commercial already, or their uses such as employee housing that are allowed in residential and commercial. There's a couple of residences in there, but the consensus was C-Tech.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Leslie? Okay, motion, please.
so moved.
Second,
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Denise,
Hi,
Jill,
Hi,
Jeremy,
Aye.
and Joe, I. Okay, thank you. Number 48.
48, that was continued to March 9th because of a flaw with our legal ad. But the planning board's been working on this one for a while. I expected to get a positive recommendation, but we'll have to wait on that until March 9th.
Okay. Number 49.
49 R1 to R5 at Williams Lane and Cherry Street. This is also part of the master plan phase out to phase out the R1 zoning district. The planning board gave this a positive recommendation, and the quantum of vote is 50%.
Okay, any questions? For Liquor? Okay,
So moved.
Second,
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Denise,
hi,
Jill,
hi.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I.
Sorry, I know we've completed that, but if I guess, was there any discussion of making it the end?
Not this particular area, no.
Why is this 50%?
Because in R1, you can't have tertiary units, but you can in R5. So it promotes housing under the housing choice bill.
Okay.
Alrighty, number 50.
50, that is also continued to March 9th.
Okay, number 51.
51, R10 to CN Surfside Road and Cobble Court. This would fill in sort of a patch of properties that are in the residential district, but directly next to property that's used commercially. There's the school, there's a doctor's office, the hospital behind it. You can see that green on the map. This received a positive recommendation from the planning board and requires a 50% vote.
This came up before, I think, right?
Just one of them.
Yeah, some of the properties were included.
Yeah.
Got it. And is this, can't remember who it was in Odison, maybe?
Mhm.
That's who
Yeah.
proposed it.
Right, okay. So this is what he wanted, what he didn't. This is what he hoped to achieve last time.
This and more.
Okay.
So the planning board took his article and expanded it to
Expanded it
fill
to include
in
more properties.
the whole area.
Got it.
And all that green across, that's all CN?
That's all CN.
And why was it defeated last time?
It didn't reach the 2/3 majority.
Two-thirds?
It did reach a 50% majority, but last year we didn't have the quantum of vote in the motion.
And it was
A
also,
new housing
it
bill.
was also just one of the lots, and was it a citizen article last time, or was it yours?
It was a citizen, but I think it was 3 or 4 lots.
But it was a smaller portion of it, so it
Yeah.
seemed a little bit more personal or something.
Okay, any further questions?
But that won't become part of the hospital overlay district, right?
Not right now. That would be another step if people want to propose that.
So moved.
Second, sorry.
Joanna,
Hi.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Denise?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Joe, aye. Thank you very much. 52.
Right, 52, 69 Hemming. This is article, part 1 is a rezoning from LUG 2 to R40. That's in the planning board motion. The article actually listed R20. And then the second part is to move that portion of the lot from the country overlay district to the town overlay district. So that map, it's on the screens, a little confusing, but I have one that I can pass around. So only the northeast portion of the property is included in the planning board motion to go from LUD 2 to R40. There was some confusion surrounding a conservation restriction on the entire property. The planning board rezoned the property, I think in 2015 maybe. And that had an impact on the buildable portion of the area that wasn't anticipated at the time. So this would correct that and restore the ground cover. That was in place at the time the conservation restriction was placed on the property.
There still is a conservation restriction on the porch to the left, or no?
There's still a conservation restriction, it just doesn't apply to the area outlined in yellow on the map I passed around.
Okay.
So we'll have to have Nathan update the one for town meeting.
All right,
So what's the purpose of this? We're just to get them back the available ground cover that they had.
When they place the conservation restriction on the whole property. Because the planning board and town meeting rezoned. Not realizing. To the property owner who placed the restriction on the property. We don't know that they realize that. Sense.
So how did you, know? Oh, because this one. Got it.
all right. Any further questions on Article 52? No? Can I have a motion, please?
So, yeah, I do. So where did the article come from?
There's a duplicate article, so this one's sponsored by the planning board, includes rezoning and the change from the country overlay district to the town overlay district. And just a note on that, I mean, generally, properties are included in the town overlay district when there's water and sewer and paved roads and bike paths and all of those things. So this property, has access to town water, it's in the sewer overlay district, it's on a main road, Humming Pond, the bike path is there, there's an RTA service, all of the things that would qualify it to be in the town overlay district. So the planning board article includes that component. The citizen article did not include that component. So the recommendation on the citizen article is to take no action. And that's later in the warrant.
All right. You good? Yep. Okay, can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Denise? Oh, Denise,
Aye.
Denise,
Nope,
go ahead.
I'm here. Aye.
All right, Jill
Aye.
and Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. Okay. Great, number 53.
Right, Article 53, Town Overlay District Open Space Parcels. Again, this is consistent with our master plan implementation to put parcels that are located in either environmentally sensitive areas or that are already preserved or used as open space in the lowest density zoning district for where they are. So in this case, these are all in the town overlay district. The R40 is our lowest density zoning district for the town. And all of these parcels are subject to, their land bank or they're already used for open space purposes. The planning board gave it a positive recommendation, and this requires a 2/3 majority vote.
Does that have any practical, that policy have any practical implication, or is it just kind of housekeeping and record keeping?
It's sort of housekeeping and record keeping, but it more clearly shows the use. So by showing all these parcels in, for instance, the commercial downtown, it seems like there's a commercial properties for commercial use when they're not. And we've tried to implement a few times.
So it avoids
open
a
space
discussion down
zoning
the road,
district,
yeah.
and that has never
Didn't
gotten
catch
any
on.
legs.
Yeah.
So this is the next best thing.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Any further questions? Can I have motions, please?
So moved.
Second,
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
and Jeremy.
Aye.
Joe, I. Okay, great. Number 54, citizens article by Ms. Williams.
Yeah, so the rest of the zoning, these are all citizen petitions from here on out.
Okay.
54, we talked about this article earlier, a citizen petition to change the special permit granting authority from the zoning board of appeals to the planning board for swimming pools. The zoning board did not recommend this, the planning board did not recommend this, and they made a motion not to adopt,
Okay.
and this has a 2/3.
What would be the reason that Linda would want to do this? I mean, what do you think is her point
I
of view?
do not want to speculate on that.
Okay,
Okay, what were the reasons that zoning and planning didn't want to do it?
yeah, that's a better way.
So
Very smart.
the zoning board is really more geared towards neighbor to neighbor issues. And the planning board is really more geared towards broader issues and things that involve subdivision and that kind of thing. So swimming pools, it doesn't necessarily have a community effect per se, it's generally more, how does it impact your direct neighbor?
Right.
So that fits better at the zoning board than the planning board.
Can I suggest, and tell me if I'm wrong, Leslie, I think Linda's number 58, accessory uses, 59, use principle are, all have the same, don't they all have the same, planning board to zoning board of appeals language change, or am I wrong on that?
No, some of those do and some of them don't.
Okay, then never mind. Let's go back to number 54. Any further questions? No. Can I have a-
We're around
54.
54.
So we're not going to accept, right?
Move to support the planning board's
Yeah.
recommendation.
Second,
Okay, Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Bill.
I'm recused.
Okey-dokey. Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I, so that passes with one recusal. Okey-dokey, number 55.
Article 55, the board held a public hearing. They made a recommendation, but then we realized we had a problem with the meeting posting, so we'll have to redo that meeting on March 9th. And then the article proponent will have an opportunity to be there and talk about her article.
Okey-dokey. Number 57.
56.
56.
Oh, sorry, I circled the wrong one. My bad. Thank you.
Okay, so 56. This article would change the special permit granting authority from the zoning board to the planning board. And in this case, it applies to reduction in frontage for commercial lots. We have a provision of the bylaw that allows the frontage to be reduced from whatever the minimum is to no less than 20 feet, provided that the lot's used for commercial purposes. Both the zoning board and the planning board did support this article because this is more consistent with subdivision and access. And that's primarily what the planning board deals with, as well as the fact that the planning board is the special permit granting authority for any commercial permits. So this would, consolidate all the permitting at the planning board and not send an applicant to both boards. So that got a positive recommendation, and it requires a 2/3 majority vote.
Any further questions for Leslie? No? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second,
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. Okey-dokey. Okey-dokey, number 57.
This is another change from the Board of Appeals to the planning board for setbacks. The Board of Appeals did not support this, and neither did the planning board, for the same reason that they didn't support the change for the pools. So the planning board motion was not to adopt, and the quantum of vote is 2/3.
Any further questions? Motion, please.
Motion to follow the planning board's recommendation.
Second,
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
and Jeremy.
Aye.
Joe, I. It's unanimous. Okay. Number 58.
All right, 58 accessory uses. This would change section 139-15 of the zoning bylaw to make it clear that the rental of rooms within an owner occupied dwelling unit is an allowed use as an accessory use. That's something that is, very traditional on Nantucket. It doesn't have anything to do with, short-term rentals and that debate. The planning board saw this as something very separate, and that it would be beneficial, again, to say in the bylaw that that is something that's allowed instead of just operating under the way we've always done things. So the planning board gave that a positive recommendation as a 2/3 quantum of vote. And they have a comment, which I haven't found yet, but making this change is consistent with goals in the housing production plan. So
This-
we'll elaborate on that.
This will make the people that rent a 4-bedroom apartment and then sublease those rooms legit instead of doing it illegally.
It's more like I'm a property owner and I live in my house and I rent out my spare
So
bedroom.
it's not a renter doing it, it's the owner doing it.
I mean, it could be a renter.
Oh,
but
okay, I'm
the-
sorry. Including but not limited to.
And would this apply to if they use like Airbnb?
That's back to the short-term rental debate.
Right.
So the board's intent with this was to treat this particular article as something outside of the short-term rentals. Just to codify again, like the subordinate use of, living in a home and renting out your spare bedroom or, that type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Have there been challenges to this?
There have not, but the question has been raised, where does it say you can do that?
Right, yeah, I don't know about this.
I think the point is, sorry, can I jump in? The point is that, Joanna, that's up to the short-term rental work group if they want to address that. That's what we're all waiting on, right?
This is so far from what we're talking about that it's never gonna be addressed, so.
Well, I must admit, it, to me, it sort of it connects back to your parking thing,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I happen to, in my neighborhood, there are clearly people that have decided to rent out bedrooms, and they have 6 cars in their driveway.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure I really care, but is that really what we want? So, I don't know. I would wonder whether this would be another question, maybe when the planning board, when we meet with them, to just talk about it with them. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, we can wait too long. This to me seems a critical part of affordable housing and the
Yeah.
affordable housing infrastructure.
This really is, yeah, because the people that I know that do this are people that don't have any other choice. So it becomes a discussion that we really need to,
Right, but then wouldn't we want to say in there that this is for year-round housing?
yeah, and usually it is year round. I don't know where it would be,
Not seasonal.
not seasonal.
I know, but again, you're back to who's year round. I mean,
What does that mean?
that, how can Leslie define this and say you have to be a year round owner to do it?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's all I
Oh,
mean,
You don't have to be an owner necessarily. It says,
right? So
No,
if people
it's-
want, and also like what if you don't want to put your name on a lease, but your friend is renting the house and you're gonna pay them and you're just legitimizing them, I guess.
I don't know.
Let,
I think we should wait.
When the zoning code is silent on a use, is it generally understood that it's allowed or not allowed?
Well, it's open for interpretation. And in this case, I mean, if it was you know, an obvious use, then it would be considered prohibited. But in this case, we're talking about accessories. So, you know, is renting out rooms in your house accessory or not accessory? That would be up for the zoning enforcement officer to interpret.
and so what's the remedy? I mean, I call and rat on my neighbor. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Mr. Jones is renting his bedroom. I don't know. I mean, I get, I have tough, personally, I'd have a tough time to do it. I'd probably walk by and be angry, but, you know.
But if somebody was picking up your legal bills and they said, go pick this fight for me, because I don't have. any
Oh, you think
standing."
that happened to this
I don't know.
guy?
Just saying.
All right, well, you know, rather than go round and round, I propose we postpone this until we meet with the planning board and chat about it with them some more.
Yeah, I
For the
think.
planning board. to
That's
give us a call.
They did give it a positive recommendation, yes.
We're still talking about it.
No, no.
Mm.
Okay,
Have
number,
we had a situation where we have not agreed with the planning board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
We're not looking for that kind of fun this year, I don't think.
no,
No.
especially at town meeting.
No.
Number 59, please, Leslie.
Okay, if we can, if you don't mind, if we could do 59, 60, and 61 together. The planning board determined that all of those were directly related to short-term rentals. And they followed the select board's lead in saying that they weren't going to take action on anything related to short-term rentals, that they, you know, with back to the work group and their work and so.
So let me
They
ask-
gave these all a motion not to adopt.
let me ask a question.
I'm gonna recuse
So-
myself before you.
Yeah, me too.
do that.
Okay,
Just no.
I don't have a financial interest, so I'm allowed to, even though I'm involved, I'm allowed to.
I
do that.
think
Yeah.
You're an
that's
expert.
why you're there.
Yeah, right. Okay, so Leslie, what happens if the current, I don't know which one it is, Emily's article comes up and it gets, and she gets, you know, enough people there, and it gets voted in. Is there anything that could be done that the planning board can do ahead of time to prevent that from happening?
No, so if she calls, if the planning board motion is not to adopt. And someone calls the article at town meeting, which
Right.
anyone can do. And the town meeting voters vote to adopt it, then the article's adopted.
Man, we're walking on thin ice.
I think so too.
Does she need 2/3?
She doesn't need 2/3.
No,
I think,
2/3.
yes. But don't forget, some people can't vote.
Yeah, but. All right, so the planning board has voted to take no action on all three of these?
Not to adopt.
Not to adopt, not to adopt.
And the quantum of votes 2/3 on all three.
Okay. How say everybody? Are we comfortable just to vote on this and to support the planning board for all three
Is
articles?
there any choice? Really?
Well,
Yeah.
Or should we wait until we talk to them about it?
I'm comfortable to support the planning board as they motioned.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think. I mean, certainly, given the fact that the short-term rental work group is out there working on this, I think we ought to discourage voters from.
Taking a solution before the process
Yeah.
is complete.
Um,
yeah, I agree 100%. However, Act Now does not agree 100%. So, you know, I think that it's an interesting discussion that we're gonna have at the town meeting.
let me just see, we have one,
They're one
you
and
two are
six.
recused, right?
Yes, yes.
1, 2, 3,
Doesn't act now, 1 and 6.
Doesn't
4,
matter.
5, so, okay, we got 6. Okay.
They got the blowers.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Um,
concerned about.
Well, so my question would be really more, maybe it's for Peter or Leslie, but if Article 60 passed and then it conflicts with the short-term rental work groups, will that replace this, or would you have language written for the fall town meeting to supersede this, or?
I think we'd have to wait till next year.
I don't know. I don't know what happens if you.
I mean,
have a-
theirs wouldn't be signed into law by the time we have a special town meeting, I don't think, right?
That would be
I-
my understanding.
60 pass, I don't know whether the special town meeting can
Do it.
No.
undo it.
Well, no, if every new bylaw, so 60 passes, doesn't it have to go through the Attorney General? Doesn't everything have to go through the Attorney General?
Everything has to go through the Attorney General. I mean, I haven't been asked this question, but my sort of instinct is that if 60 passed, then whatever article came forward for the special would have to amend the language in
60, right.
regardless of whether it had been approved by the Attorney General or
So
not.
there is kind of a solution.
Well,
Yeah, but not really, because there's no way the Attorney General's gonna sign that into law by then.
no.
So we'd be amending something that's not in effect and that they didn't sign it till, I don't know, it just seems like a little bit of jeopardy,
Well,
but.
The only way you can amend it is if they agreed to amend, the people that submitted the article agreed to amend it, and they wouldn't be agreeing to amend it, I don't
You're
think.
doing exactly what they do. You're just entering a new, you're changing the law.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Do it and do a new vote.
Yeah,
You just do a new, you just
but
do
you
a
need-
new bylaw. You
Yeah,
just do a new bylaw.
Yeah, okay, that makes me feel better. We
But
can-
you,
Yeah,
you gotta
there's,
get 2/3 though.
yeah,
All right, so we have 58, 59, and 60 that the planning board has voted not to adopt.
No, Joe, 58 was, we're postponed it, 59.
I'm sorry.
59, 60, and 61.
My bad, thank you. 59,
okay.
60, and 61, reading the wrong lines. Can I have the planning board has voted not to adopt them. I don't know if we have further discussion on,
Move to support the
Okay.
planning board's motion.
yes,
Second,
second,
okay, Joanna,
I,
Peter,
aye,
Denise,
aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. Okay, that passes. The two refusals. All that was, and again, for the minutes, that was articles 59, 60, and 61. Okay. Great. Number 62.
Okay, if we could do 62 and 63 together because they address the same section of the bylaw in two different ways. And it's two different approaches, but these are citizen articles and the planning board opened the public hearing. I'm working with the article sponsor on perhaps a compromise that addresses her concerns, but not to the extent that she has drafted her article. And that's going to be scheduled for March 9th.
so we are waiting.
and that was for 62 and 3, okay.
Okay. Any further
And
questions?
Leslie, just one thing from my side, we have to have our final motions by March 14th. So it can't go past March 9th. We're running out of runway here.
And the planning board's well aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so 62 and 63 are being put off to March 9th. Okay. 64.
64, this is a change from the Sconset Old Historic District to the Village Neighborhood District. This is a citizen article, but it is consistent with the master plan to create a little village node in the center of Sconset. This is next to Claudette's. And this property was just recently purchased by the Sconset Trust and is going to be used for housing, which is consistent. The planning board gave it a positive recommendation and it requires I believe this one's a 50%, but it might be 2/3. I didn't make note of that in here. Sorry.
Does the village of Sconset have its own employees?
We have its own employees, yeah, like, say if you work at the Wisconsin Market, you're not also working at Millie's. So to that extent, yeah.
Oh, but they're not they're not village employees.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
So
I'm talking about
a
commercial,
group of
yeah.
neighbors, as the Sconset Trust purchased the building. It's
Right,
intended to be used as employee housing for business.
for businesses, gotcha, okay.
No, they don't have like their own police.
Yes. Maybe there's a guy cleaning up after.
Anymore, I guess they had a Wisconsin fire brigade. Wow.
Yeah.
Turn this into the vineyard.
Any further questions or discussion on 64? Can I have motion? So moved. Second,
Second.
All right, Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I, unanimous. Thank you. Number 65.
All right, 65. Again, this one is consistent with the master plan implementation to phase out RC2. The properties on Arrowhead Drive would go from the RC2 district to the commercial mid-island district. When the commercial mid-island district was originally proposed, it was intended just to be in the mid-island and to perhaps replace the mid-island overlay. We've since expanded that out closer to the airport. The area on the map, it's in Aqua, sort of on the south portion abutting Old South Road, that's in CMI already. It would extend that down Arrowhead Drive. The planning board gave this a positive recommendation and has a quantum vote of 50%.
Okay. Any further questions? No? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen, Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, I. Number 66.
66. Rezoning properties on Old South Road, Little Isle Lane, Miller Lane, and Airport Road from R20, which is a residential district, to commercial neighborhood, which is a mixed use, lighter commercial district. The planning board had a lot of discussion about this one. They felt that some commercial was okay, but perhaps the commercial neighborhood was a bit too intense. So they have worked with the property owners and they've agreed to restrict the properties from many of the commercial uses that are allowed in CN. What this would allow is the development of more residential, like apartment type uses. This area has access to water and sewer. It's on the bike path, the NERDA route, school bus route, all of those things. They did remove 3 Miller Lane, which I believe is the property on the southwest side from the article. And they gave it a positive recommendation pending all of that. And that has a quantum vote of 50%.
So how does that restriction of the property, so they're gonna be like CN light, but it's not actually its own district, so these property owners are just agreeing privately to restrict their properties. But where's the covenant, like where?
So we've done this in a few locations over the years, and what happens is they get together, they put together the restriction, it's reviewed by town council, it's fully executed. Town council holds the restriction until town meeting has voted. If it's approved and passed by the attorney general, then they go and record the restriction against all the deeds.
So there's a homeowners association, I'm assuming.
No, it would be enforceable by the town.
So all the residents of this area have been notified about this potential change and had the opportunity to speak to you about it.
Yes, they came in together as a group. It's a family.
Related.
And the empty land also is all part of it. Yeah,
Okay.
same thing.
So what if town meeting said, I really want a supermarket there, and I don't want that restriction on the properties. So I understand you have an agreement with the homeowners, but I want to vote the article as it's originally written.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
could-
Yeah.
Make that motion. You know, would be modifying.
So the planning board's
Planning board.
recommendation is gonna say, yes, but these restrictions.
In the motion.
No, the planning board can't put that in their motion. The planning board motion will say that they support the change, and then we'll have a comment about the restriction.
So I have a question. Did the planning board sort of summarize how many additive homes or apartment buildings are going to be built here as opposed to putting in a new supermarket or other commercial?
I mean, I'm not sure that that's an apples to apples type comparison, because, with supermarket or some of the heavier commercial stuff, it generates a different level of traffic and other things that residential use, doesn't really compare to.
And these are in perpetuity, or that, some of these things lapse after 20 or 30 years, or would these be?
So restrictions that are enforceable by the town don't expire.
It's just homeowner association type thing.
Right.
Okay.
So it'd be enforceable by the town through the zoning officer, through the planning board.
So it's CN, the Nantucket Inn.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
okay. Any further questions? No?
Yeah. So how does town meeting know what the restrictions are? It's in a comment, but if it's not, seems to me it needs to be in a motion that you're voting on, or just. Comment doesn't hold any weight.
Technically, that would be contract zoning, which is
Right, it sounds similar.
allowed.
Because there's literally a contract, but like, that's not what we're doing, so I just want to understand how it's done. And you say it's been done before, I'm sure it has been done, but it seems like somebody's got a chance to weasel out of
There's
it.
a little trust me going on here.
Yeah,
Well, there's not really, because it's already been executed and town council's holding the restriction.
but
So
so,
it's ready to go to the registry as soon as town meeting votes.
so where's the list of restrictions?
I can read them to you. I don't have the legal document right now, but
No,
what
I
they,
don't, yeah,
You
I'm
wanna
sure
hear?
that's longer.
Will it be
Yeah.
in the comment, though? The individual
Is
restrictions are in the
is
comment?
that the draft comment that's gonna be in the warrant for people to read?
I haven't finalized the comment yet. This was just for me to have notes for
Okay.
today.
But
So here's what they agreed to restrict. Supermarket, drive-through takeout, tavern or bar. All formula businesses, laundromat and dry cleaning. Any type of marijuana establishment. A hospital, but not a medical clinic, which would be like a doctor's office.
but an animal,
Storage containers, motor vehicle sales, motor vehicle rental, motor vehicle repair or painting, motor vehicle service station, motor vehicle parking lot or structure, taxi cab business, maritime service station, petroleum product storage or distribution facility, kennel, that's it. So it'd still be allowed to have like a convenience or restaurant or some of the lighter,
What is a
Type
formula
commercials.
business?
chain store.
chain store.
Oh, that, okay, gotcha.
Right.
There will be no Chick-fil-A.
Only on Sundays.
It could be like Chick-fil-U.
But it's not a formula. then.
Okay.
So Leslie, was there were there some people who were opposed to this going to CN?
I'm not aware of any opposition, but again, I was at your FinCom meeting and the planning board meeting when this was heard. It was more of the planning board being open to some commercial, but not everything. So this was an effort to compromise.
I'm
So
good.
moved.
Second,
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Denise?
Aye,
Jill?
Hi.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Joe, aye. Okay. 67.
Between CN Lake and CTEC, right? One hundred and CTEC.
You couldn't do a restaurant, C-Tech.
Okay, so 67.
Sold the restaurant.
C-Tech's first.
67 Old South Road in Miller Lane. The proposal was to place this in the R10 district, so it'd be going from a 20,000 square foot minimum lot size to a 10,000 square foot minimum lot size. The planning board felt that was an appropriate change. It's right across the street from Naw Shop, property abuts the Richmond development. Daffodil neighborhood that's effectively developed at a 10,000 square foot density. You've got Egan Lane or Pinecrest, one of those across the street. And then the 10,000, that's, still a pretty good sized lot. And it's on Old South Road where you have, again, the bike path, NERDA service, water, sewer, all of those things available. So the planning board gave that a positive recommendation as a quantum vote of 50%.
So we used to talk about, I think in reaction to the Richmond plan, we used to ask for some analysis about how many more dwellings might be produced with a zoning change. I guess that applies to the last article too. Has any of that analysis been done? I mean, because there's no restriction here, like we asked Richmond to restrict the lots for affordability or year-round use. This doesn't have that, so this is just, 50 more dwellings pouring out onto Old South Road. They don't have any other option because we got rid of Miller Lane. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And, this can be a neighbor, people should be aware that this can be a neighborhood that's not year-round housing, even though it's Old South Road. You look just down the street at the subdivision next to the Discovery Playground. Those properties just went on the market for $3.6 to $4.5 million.
It's amazing. Are they selling?
Well, they just went on the market, so I don't know, somebody.
Within a day or two.
Yeah,
They're pre-building the homes.
yeah.
All the properties in this zone, Leslie, are they all, this is all privately owned land? I mean, different owners, there isn't like a developer that's purchased
No.
for these and, or
It's the same,
Same.
some of the same family as the last article.
And the R20 half-acre district is inconsistent with what has developed all around there.
It's inconsistent.
Inconsistent, which is why the planning board supported it.
For Fort Blair.
so the planning board's comfortable with reducing the lot sizes.
And how many more homes will get built as a result of that? 20,000 going to 10,000?
I don't have that number, but just in theory, it would double what's allowed.
So like the R20 in the bottom there in Daffodil Lane on the north side of Daffodil, that's it looks like it's developed like 10,000 square feet, except they're condos. It's still 20,000 square feet. So they didn't have the ability to do like 6 dwellings. Whereas every 10,000 square foot lot in this area, should we change the zoning, they're each gonna get potentially 3 dwellings. That's a significant difference as compared to those two. And they're on like a closed traffic loop there. I don't know, it is materially different.
Just one thing to keep in mind that, as those lots are developed, they'll have to go in front of the planning board for review because a secondary dwelling requires review for access, a tertiary dwelling requires review for access,
But
any sort of
what can you
redivision.
say about access? Like, there's only one road and it's one of the major thoroughfares on the island. You can't say it doesn't have access. Or it could be developed like Buck Hollow, where every 7,000 square feet gets a $4.5 million house. If it's left where it is, you can still do 3 dwellings on 20,000 square feet, but you'd have to put it into the covenant program or, do the secondary and tertiary lot program like we just talked about. But you'd get affordability and year-round restrictions on the properties. We have good tools in the arsenal that keeps year-round housing, which is getting very expensive for the town to produce. And this is an opportunity to keep this in a district where that becomes a more palatable option for the property owners.
Does the value of the property go up when you reduce the size of the lot? I would think it does.
I'm not sure if the value of the land does, but certainly all of a sudden you can build twice as many homes.
Well, then the value of the land goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leslie, was there any discussion about or encouragement to these landowners to include more commercial at all? Because there is some commercial there and just knowing that we need more commercial zoning.
Well, this particular property's in a residential district right now. It's in residential 20. So it would be. going from-
I just thought, was there any discussion to include some commercial? That street's the street itself is pretty commercial.
I'm not aware of any discussion about that. I think it was limited to, what they proposed.
Okay.
I mean, I think Stephen raises some pretty good observations and points about the tract of land. But I'd be reluctant to take a vote against the planning board without chatting with them. So
Okay.
I think we ought to put this on the list of things to talk to them about.
Yeah, maybe there's an opportunity to re-engage with the property owners and see if they'll put some restrictions like they, like a different group of people did down the street. There might be some things like maybe they don't need tertiary dwellings on all the lots. You know, maybe the net impact, you know, who knows what they all have planned if they want to get together. Like if these 6 lots got together and did something with unified access and egress, that's different than everybody having their own driveways.
Right.
You know, if you don't need third dwellings because they're going for a different look and feel there. But asking for some of those types of assurances, I think would be appropriate. I mean, you know, secondary and tertiary lots, like, sort of already creates the opportunity to do some of the stuff that this zoning change would allow, so.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna hold that one over till the planning board get together. Number 68.
68, okay. So these properties are currently in the R40 district. And this article is placing in the commercial neighborhood district. One of the properties, the northern property, is already used commercially. That's part of Wendell Auto. The property to the south is currently very, it's a residential, just has a small house on it. And it's right across the street from the airport. The property owners, I'm working with a nonprofit on relocating them to that location. The planning board gave it a positive. It has water, has sewer, paved roads, all of those things again. And again, it's directly across the street from the airport and the butts of the Nantucket Inn to the north. And that would require a 50% majority.
Any further questions for Leslie then? Motion?
So moved.
Second. Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris, Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Hi,
and I'm having a senior moment.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, sorry.
Aye.
Joe, aye. 69.
69, this is the duplicate article that we touched on earlier. LUG 2 to R20 for 69 Hummel Pond Road. The planning board made a motion not to adopt. And this would require, this would actually be a 2/3, or sorry, excuse me, 50% majority if it were to be voted, but the planning board has to put that in their motion and they made a motion not to adopt, so.
So this will be explained, right? Because you definitely don't want the other, you don't want this to pass after the other article passed
Right.
in terms of the order.
Right, so unless someone calls this one, the motion will be not to adopt.
Okay, I got it. Because I was gonna say, you're not. Okay, no.
But the other one cures the property owner's need.
Yes.
Yeah,
So they're not.
so this
follow
is gonna be
it.
irrelevant. Yeah, okay.
And and this particular, that is the property owner, Hiller,
Yes,
but why didn't they want to, they didn't want to withdraw their article if the other one is,
I think
Sure it
the
is.
intent was for them to withdraw the article, but that didn't happen, but they don't want to move forward with this one. They want to
Yeah.
move forward with the planning board article.
Okay, so no discussion.
okay, so the planning board's motion is take no action,
Take no action, not to adopt.
not to adopt.
We
So
see.
They both need 50.
Well, I think the planning board motion has to specify the quantum of vote, but since the motion's not to adopt,
No, I just was wondering if the other one doesn't pass because it needs 2/3, then you'd want this one.
As a backup?
no, the other one's half,
Okay.
50%.
Okay,
Move to support the planning board's recommendation.
I have a second.
Second.
Joanna,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
Jill,
Hi.
Jeremy,
Aye.
Joe, aye. Okay. You did it.
That was amazing.
That's it?
Yeah, I thought we'd be here.
I did say.
Doing that.
Well, we punted all the hard ones too.
Yeah, really. Yeah, skip the other.
All righty, our next meeting is Thursday, the 16th. There anybody want to make any committee reports? I don't have anything particularly new to say.
Peter?
No, tomorrow. Tonight.
Oh, right.
Next meeting, you'll have a good report for us.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't think there was any other business, so can I have a motion? to
actually,
adjourn?
tonight's an interesting meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I can mention this. Tonight's meeting is we're going over all the comments that the public made when we had our public meeting. And I went through all 36 pages of it, and it's pretty interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it's manipulated.
Man,
That's not confident.
Well, I mean, it's.
I think
it
the
is
word you're looking for, Peter, was summarized,
Summarized,
summarized, not
much
necessarily.
better, much better. I'm so bad. Okay. So we'll have more to tell you on Thursday.
good luck.
Okay, motion to adjourn, please.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Joanna,
I'm the second.
Steven.
Aye.
Chris.
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Denise,
Hi.
Bill,
Hi.
Jeremy.
Aye.
So aye. All righty. We did it.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Leslie.
everybody.
Thank